going. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
just like every single
Get it.
week, we start at 7 p.m., but we are starting out of nowhere. That's right. We are shadow dropping this episode, guys. Hey, welcome again. Another episode of Cardboard Conversations. Lovely to have everybody here. Hi, I'm Pat.
Yo,
Yo,
I'm Matt.
Bob.
Yes, we did it. Yes, hat trick. High five. Pow. There we go. Yeah, so we were just talking about some of the incredible gaming news. It's been a pretty hectic week. I haven't talked to the guys in a couple of weeks here, went down for Easter, did all the family stuff. So thanks for not giving me too much grief about it. I appreciate it, fellas. But came back and we've got all these MTG unbanned stuff. We've got all the earnings stuff for Wizards of the Coast quarterly, a bunch of video games to come out. Man, it's going to be a pretty packed episode. What do you want to start in with, Matt?
False allegations.
False allegations. These are false allegations. What else have I got?
I've been playing a new game that was new to me. I mean, I saw advertisements for it like last week, and I remember looking at the graphics and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And then there's I pulled it up on Steam and I looked at it and I was like, huh, interesting. And then I kind of just like shoved it off. And then I saw another advertisement for it like a day before its release, or maybe the day of its release. I was like, you know what? I'm looking for a game to play, so I'll play it. And I bought it on Steam. And then I quickly realized that I should probably check Xbox Game Pass to make sure it's not on there. It's on there. So then I refunded it on Steam, and then I played on the Xbox Game Pass. Whoops. But yeah, they refunded it. Not a big deal. So yeah, it's probably going to be contender for Game of the Year. It is a very good game if you don't mind the quick time events situation. I actually think it'd be a better game if it just didn't have it. Now,
so interestingly enough, I stumbled upon a setting in the game menus that for all of your attacks, you can turn quick time events off.
No, but I'm talking about
anything you're dodging and
yeah. So like if you guys are familiar with the game, think Final Fantasy with Dark Souls, where every monster attack you have to dodge, parry.
Oh God, I'm out.
Dodge, parry. Oh yeah, you'd hate this fucking game.
You can.
You can just eat it if you want, I guess. But
so that's the thing is, I've been playing on the story mode, and I straight up just don't fucking do that.
Oh, I haven't. I've been playing on the normal mode. I haven't tried. I've thought about dropping down, but I'm like 20 hours into the game. I've beaten it. It feels super satisfying to parry, even though the timing is like it's milliseconds. Like it's crazy how tight the timing you need to do for parrying.
It's definitely a very fast-paced, as far as Matt was saying. It's a turn-based RPG, and on the enemy's turn, you can either jump, dodge, or parry the enemy's attacks. And it is a very tight window of timing to the fact where I just could not get it to be effective. So I went from Expeditionist, which is your normal game mode, to story, and it literally dropped by a factor of 10 how difficult the game was. So each turn they were doing about 40 or 50 damage, and it went down to about 4 to 5, which at that point my characters have a couple hundred life. So you can just make the game completely different. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about it is, as you can see from the trailer stuff we're showing here, it is an absolute graphical powerhouse. It's made in Unreal 5 by a first off French team. So this is the first game that their company's ever put out, and it is coming to rave reviews. Currently 92% very positive on Steam, and it day one on Game Pass. So they're definitely getting a lot of exposure. And like Matt said, for me, this is right up there in Game of the Year contention. This is a surprising hit for me.
Yeah, the story's very good. The combat's fun. The character building is very solid. Like you've got like a little skill tree that you can pick skills from. You've got 6 skills you can have, and then there's like passive effects you can equip, and their weapon you get, and stats you put in your character. So there's a lot of different variations of like builds you can do. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's I could tell you that still playing on Expedition, I'm like probably, I don't know, 20 hours in or whatever. I think I'm halfway through the game. I actually don't know because I haven't looked up anything. But the boss that I'm on right now is considered like a god boss, and I have repeatedly died many times over. And it's not even like that. It's like hard as far as taking damage. Like it does still suck. It's more about like I feel like I'm either not powerful enough or the boss is designed where you basically have to parry everything or you lose because you have
Ooh,
to deal enough
yeah.
damage. Parries deal a ton of damage, like
Yeah.
thousands, like 5 to 10,000 damage for where I'm at right now. So like if you parry, you're like in a good spot. But yeah, it's interesting. The quick time events are interesting because on one side of the coin, I think it's unique and fun, and it feels good. Like the damage is good. If the damage
Mm.
wasn't good, it would be bad, and I would hate it. But because you can parry, it feels good because of the big damage. But it is interesting. I think the game might just be better as just a normal turn based. But they tried to be unique, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's unique for uniqueness sake, which kind of goes along with a lot of how I think they designed the game. Um, it's very unique. I think that's a great way to describe it. The story, like you said, is one of a kind. Definitely never heard anything like it, and even just going through and watching some reviews on it, you've got to be very attentive. Some sources, honestly, you can see one or two screenshots, and now you know a huge change in the game. Even just some of the user interface that evolves as you learn and explore more. So yeah, it definitely very, very fun. I feel blessed to be a gamer because along with this coming out of nowhere was Oblivion Remastered. I mean, we finally got a Bethesda game that seems to be worth going and playing. Fuck off, Starfield.
I've never liked the Elder Scrolls series. I don't know if that's an
No?
unpopular opinion, but I think I tried Morrowind way back in the day, and I remember being lost and wandering around because it was very lacking in like the aid of like, hey, this is your quest, go do the thing. A lot of times I just want to be like told, like, go do the thing, give me the quest marker, and I'll go there. And then I'll go do the quest. If you want me to go kill 5 wolves, I'll go kill 5 wolves. Like I'm very like that's maybe World of Warcraft has trained me that way.
Well,
I played
then
World of
I think
Warcraft for
you'll
many,
feel
many
right at
years.
home with Oblivion.
Yeah, Oblivion, from
Now,
what I understand, is
yeah,
better than Morrowind, but that's how I was like exposed
yeah,
to Elder Scrolls games, so I just didn't play
yeah.
them.
So, it's got a pretty solid quest marker system. It shows you, you know, on your little compass at the top, how many steps to get to the next doorway that you're supposed to go through to do your quest. On top of that, there's a spell called Clairvoyance. Pretty much everybody has access to. It just lights up a path on the ground to literally show you down. Yeah, it's pretty slick.
That's what I want. I don't really care. I don't need to explore a wide open world and figure it out. I honestly just want to play your game. Tell me what to do. Like they call it the yellow paint system or whatever, where like they tell you like where you can climb. Like, yeah, it sounds great. I don't need
I know
to
what
like
you're
guess
talking about.
and figure it out. I'm good.
Yeah, there was a game back in the Xbox 360 era called Mirror's Edge that had a system like you're talking about with this red paint. So as you're parkouring through the game, you just kind of have to look down further down screen and see these red splotches, and that's kind of your chosen path to go through. What up, Coach?
We're just talking about some quick games we've been playing recently. Yeah, I'll probably give Oblivion a shot. Like, I want to beat Expedition 33 first, and then I'll play it. It's on Xbox Game Pass as well, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
The value, not a sponsor, but the value of Xbox Game Pass, if you get the Xbox Gold memberships and then convert them to Xbox Game Master, what you call it, Ultimate Game Pass, it's a very good deal. So Google that. How to change Xbox Live. You can buy the codes and then you transfer it. It's like $3 a month. It's pretty great.
Heck yeah. What do you say about that, Bob?
I was just watching the show.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I would say with that first game, that girl reminded me of that. What was that creepy Megan movie? I was like, oh,
I think I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I was like, all right.
The voice actor of Shadowheart is she does the Mael, one of the characters in the game.
Oh yeah, they got Andy Serkis for the fucking game too. So I'm kind of surprised that for a first off game from a new game studio that they got some pretty big names for it.
I noticed it was Shadowheart's voice actor immediately. She sounds exactly the same. It's kind of crazy how they didn't change her, or she didn't. Maybe that's just her normal voice. They just people are like, yeah, we like that. She doesn't have a good voice. I like it.
I did not. I'm not a big Switch gamer, and I don't know exactly when I fell off of console games. But it just felt kind of bad compared to like PC gaming, where you have things like the Game Pass, you have trials and things. It seems like when you're it seems like on console games, and maybe they're getting better at it. I know that they have their own, downloadable trials now. They were just starting to get in that with, like, I want to say PS4. But it always feels like you're committed much more financially. And it's always just like hour-based kind of stuff. Like, okay, how much are you paying per hour? Whereas I've, for the last 30 years, been playing MMOs where you play so many hours, you cannot put that into, like, cost per hour kind of
fractional banking at that point. Yeah.
Like if you look at it, they even advertise the games that go into consoles, like over 40 hours of gameplay. It's literally in their advertisements.
Yeah, realistically, I mean, similar enough. The only reason I still have an Xbox whatsoever is for the pending release of Grand Theft Auto 6. At realistic 100%. I don't think I've turned on my Xbox this year. Straight up, just at all in 2025.
Well, and additionally, the Switch, I think, is got some hubbub surrounding the tariffs. The cost and availability, and so it's not something I really. It kind of turned me off to any even concept of getting a Switch. I never got the Switch 1 either, but.
So it's funny. I had a Switch, the original one. I think I got it within a month of it coming out, which was like right before COVID. And then COVID hit, and I thought, oh, hey, I'll play this all the time. This is going to be a great investment. No, I got a fucking computer. And who wants to play a fucking Nintendo Switch when they've got a gaming computer? Nobody. It's like, it's very portable, but it's so underpowered. Even the new one that they came out, I think it taps out at 1080, which is just a travesty for a video game system.
Yeah, if I were to ever buy a handheld gaming system, it'd be a Steam Deck.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
From what I understand, they are pretty decent at being able to play, because you're not really playing. You're streaming it from your PC. Your PC is handling some of the power, I guess. Is how it works. I actually don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I've seen no reason for it.
If you link it, you can, but the Steam Deck is totally separate. Yeah, it's like a little computer all by itself.
Right, but it's not going to be able to play a lot of these AAA games at good settings.
No. I think they were saying it can play Oblivion Remastered on low, but when you hit medium, it just crashes.
I had a lot of problems with crashing on Expedition 33, but that's a my fault problem. Yeah, because of Intel's E-cores. I don't know what it is about these E-cores. They suck. I had constant crashes all day the first day of playing Expedition 33. I turned off my E-cores for the game. No crashes the entire night. I've had this problem so many times. The E-cores, whatever they do, they fucking suck. They're not efficient. No, they're a scam, actually. Like, I'm gonna go off of Intel because of this shit. Like, I'm waiting to find a good processor that I want to buy, and I'm gonna switch out my processor, which is the first time in a very long time.
I'd rather have a Stream Deck than a Steam Deck.
Oh, there you go. We do need some of those nice little buttons on there. Have the false validations,
Yeah, it wouldn't do anything.
No,
I'm funny. I'm sure by that this week.
Does StreamYards have a support for something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I figured I don't see any hotkeys, so I don't know how that would work.
It's all on our side. Yeah.
How do I feel about Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't.
I feel those cards are so freaking small. Like it's difficult, honestly. What up, Lance? How we doing?
What's up, Lance? I mean, the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh, and I think it was a mistake, and I think it really does punish the game, is that they didn't go with the same industry standard size cards, right? That fit the sleeves, and that very early on turned me off hard to Yu-Gi-Oh. Beyond that, you know, we can see that the gameplay, just the power creep type of thing, I think kind of blew up the game from the gameplay that I've seen. Granted, I have never actually sat down and turned the card sideways for Yu-Gi-Oh, but from what I saw in the LGS, I was like, not.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger. I collected them. I had Exodia. I had Blue Eyes White Dragon. It really sucks. I had a lot of the cards that if I would have just kept them, it's like one of those things where you don't know. But if I would have just kept them, I had like first edition, like everything. First edition,
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician Girl. I had all the first edition of the first set because when I worked, I guess I don't know if it was work, but when I would go to my mom's, she would go to flea markets, and we would go to. There was like this guy, this vendor. He had Yu-Gi-Oh boxes, and I would actually go. I had like some money that I'd made, and I bought a box, and I opened them, and then I put them in a binder, and then I used the Beckett guide, and I actually like priced the cards, and people would come over and buy them. And the first day, I made more money than my mom did at the flea market. And then she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards." And she's like, What's that all about? So I showed
what the
her.
fuck's a Yu-Gi-Oh?
She's like, okay. She's like, well, I have more money than you, so do you want? I can buy more boxes and we can split it. We can go kind of like go in halfsy. So we started doing that, and that was great because that's more pack opening. Back then,
right.
you weren't able to really buy them online as readily. So yeah, it was great. Like I mean, we were talking hundreds of dollars for when I was like, I don't remember how old, 15 maybe. Every time we would go to the flea market, it was fantastic. I'd create little packs of cards and sell them, and
I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh. I've opened a little bit of it because the store owner for the store I go to sometimes, he was getting rid of some product, so he just gave me a handful of Yu-Gi-Oh packs. I was like, hey, take these. I don't know what the fuck to do with it. No one wants them. Like Bob was talking about the power creep. So I've never actually played Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm very aware of it in the game space. I've seen more than a few games of it at very high level, and I try to pay attention to it. Actually, as far as like monetary stuff goes, I'm definitely looking at sealed boxes and singles when it comes to TCG player, because I'm always open to the idea of, like Matt was saying, open a box and make money off of it. So for sure.
I don't know that that's the right path. Boy,
I want to touch on it totally right. Like
I want to touch on finances at some point, and it's actually, well, there's a couple of things to talk about in the financial world. Before we get into the quarterly earnings report, that's right, dropped this week for Hasbro, which is actually the numbers look good with a little bit of dark clouds. We'll talk about that a little later. Love you too, Sherry Vegas. But another big issue that came up in the last basically week, and it's unfortunate for some, and I think it's going to affect a large part of the audience. And that is the announcement that, they announced back in October. So during the Biden administration, they were stopping the student loan abatements, right? In case you don't remember, you had to start paying again back in September, thanks to the Biden administration. But Trump just announced that they're going to start enforcing the law again, that if you haven't started paying, which a shocking amount of people haven't, over 60% of the people that have student loans are in default, and they're going to start garnishing wages. So if you're going to invest, make sure you are now loans first. Like that, they will come and get you. That's a debt that's one of the very few debts that they can actually take Social Security benefits. They can garnish those, right?
Yeah, most normal debts, like I never understood is like, how do people avoid taxes? Like, how do people avoid shit like this? You can't even go bankrupt and not have student loans hanging over you. Yeah, I'm surprised that it
Yeah,
lasted as
it's
long
not
as it
something that
has.
goes away. You say, "Oh,
No.
I'll claim bankruptcy." Fine, and you still owe student debt. So
It is literally easier to get rid of AIDS at this point than
right, yeah,
student
like this
loans.
is not going away. All these people are delulu. Well,
So honestly, Rip and Chip, I'm 100% with you. Make zero money, pay zero taxes. I've never had to make one student loan payment, mostly because I stopped my education after YouTube in high school.
I'm just saying that was pretty big news, and considering the age brackets of most Magic the Gathering folks out there,
Oh yeah,
I'm going to bet that this is going to come into play, which may end up affecting the Q1 results. We'll get into that later. I don't want to get into money this early on. People tend to go, see ya, when we start talking boring numbers. So
what people do love seeing is people opening up products, which unfortunately we're not doing in this episode. No, we're doing it right after this episode. That's right. For members who pay their 99 cents a month, they get access to our box openings.
$1 a month.
$1 a month. Honestly, it's pretty ridiculous. So we're doing an entire
if you're in student loan debt, I'll forgive you for not being a member. But if you're not in student loan debt, I think you can afford $1 a month.
Yep. So we are doing a series of Tarkir Dragonstorm box openings. Yes, that's right. Matt opened up his box last week. I'm doing my box this evening, and I think Bob's lined up for next week, and we've got a fourth as well. That's right. We are turning entire sealed boxes into Commander Raids deck. So if that sounds interesting, go ahead and hit the linky doos down below.
I can tell you that, just so I guess Bob's aware, you're wrong. So because I have student loans, I know this. It says they talked about earlier this year the court prevented the U.S. Department of Education from implementing parts of the Savings of Valuable program. But there's something called save forbearance. It says what this means for you. Due to the court injunction, you are now in general forbearance unless you obtained a different status for example, for a deferment. Your student loan provider is not currently able to bill you at the amount required by the court injunction. You will be in forbearance until the services are able to accurately calculate monthly payments, which FSA expects to be September of 2025. Under this general forbearance, you do not have to make monthly payments on your student loans. Interest is not accruing, and time does not profit or provide. I don't know if this is just for me.
No, well, but you're missing the point. The point was for people that are already in default.
But
and it starts May 5th.
But I haven't made payments in like years.
It's not that. It depends on if you're in default.
But default would mean you didn't pay, and I haven't paid my student loans in years.
No, it means when
I
you
was paying on them,
you didn't.
I don't know. All I know is I was told that I don't have to pay until probably late. It's like late.
All I'm saying is that that's coming. And I know that they're starting May 5th.
Yeah, and people thought times were hard. It's just going to get more difficult. Like Coach is saying about the tariffs making some of purchases of, playthings and toys being more expensive. A lot of food comes from overseas too. So tack that onto it, the resumption of these payments for a lot of folks across the country. In general, it's going to be a pretty tough summer for a lot of folks, which is why I'm extremely excited for Final Fantasy Play boosters being so wonderfully acceptable for prices.
All right, so I guess that means let's get into it. Let's go ahead and pop up the quarterly earnings report. And I wonder if I don't have it up on the screen, but like really early on, and I don't know if they said it here. So I'm just going to sort of paraphrase, don't quote me exactly, what Mr. Cox said about Final Fantasy being it was going to be at release the best selling Magic set of all times. Wait, correction. It already is the best selling Magic set of all time.
Fuck, I love that. That's so baller though. Like honestly, you know how cool he probably felt when he said that shit, Bob? No, it already is. He probably winked at him and everything. Fucking
so it was actually Matt, surprise, folks, who brought up the surprise question we're gonna have once I finish going through the numbers here. Can everybody see the numbers fairly well, I guess? In short, to
It looks like they made $6,000.
no, they made a lot more than $6,000. So in short, the numbers look really good. I went through a lot of this, and I'll try to hit some of the highlights here. In short, they made over $100 million in Magic compared to $100 million more, 110 actually, more than they did in the same 3-month period last year, which that is good. And there are a couple of things in here that are also really, really good. One of them, I don't know if it's good. And that is if you look, the inventories, they have less, which they have stated, if you weren't here a couple of years ago, that they're going to start reducing inventories. I don't remember what the number was at the time. I thought it was like over 700 million when I first started looking at it. Don't quote me. I'll have to go back and look that number up if you all really care. But they're significantly trimming the amount of excess inventory they have. So what does this mean for those of you that think they're just stockpiling, cases and cases and pallets of these collector boxes and whatnot in the warehouses, or that they just have play boxes stacked to the roof? Those days are gone. When Rudy says he can't get them, that's because they don't exist. And they're heading even more in that direction. It's bad to have excess inventory just sitting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Amazon's Final Fantasy page, and you can't buy anything from their page right now. Like, not even starter kits, not play boosters.
Well, the more inventory you have, if it just sits for years, that actually counts against you, because they have to pay for storage and security and all kinds of things for product that exists, right? So,
but what about the whole Legends palette? That was such a that paid off so well.
Where did it come from?
I think that was egg on their face, and and dumping in landfills and those kind of things, and that's what this is trying to avoid, right? So that's actually making them leaner and meaner, right? It really does, which I think is a good direction for the company. Yeah. But this is for Hasbro in general, and Coach might have said something that really is going to hurt them, and that's that almost all their toys are made in China, right? All the physical toys. Yeah. So we'll see what that inventory number does as we move forward for all their products. That isn't just $300 million worth of Magic sitting in warehouses.
And we've got Lance from Rip and Ship by Moonshot saying Wizards sales count when they sell to distribution and to Amazon.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. I don't want to give away Matt's keen insight. I want to go through the positive first. So it looks like overall, even though they're only down about 40 million in inventories, they're down about 130 million in total assets. And what is a little concerning about that is, if you look, they're still accounting goodwill at the same amount for their assets. We'll see. Goodwill is fugazi, just to kind of give the short skinny on that, is that it's worth, Wizards is worth that much because they say their IPs are worth that much. Okay, over 2 billion. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's 2 billion.
It's like his self-confidence could be quantized.
Right? That's like, I'm good looking, bitches. But I'm sexy.
Well, so that's what a lot of companies
assets that are down, from what they say. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's still attached to that E1 debacle. But they don't get into those kind of things. Some of the other things that we see, long-term debt, current long-term debt portion, they say is negative. Whatever that means. I don't know what it means by current long-term debt. I thought that was long-term debt.
Like they have none.
But if you actually look, their long-term debt went up by $400 million. Question mark.
Well, my thought on that is with probably having to pay for long-term rights for their arena client stuff. So, I know Spider-Man's not going on there, but there are other
but they probably count that in their other intangible assets and whatnot. The fact that they have licensed rights, so that has some value. Who knows? They don't really get into those kind of numbers. But they say their total liabilities are lower by 300 million, but their long-term debt and what long-term debt tends to be is borrowed money. Right? That means that, hey, we took we're borrowing against the future. So that was one of the that's not the greatest. Or restructuring debt in certain terms, but okay, even though they're up. But what is great, at least for the moment, and we'll get into that, Matt kind of did the wah on this one in my head, but if they're up about $110 million for the same quarter, that's really good news for the health of Hasbro to be up that much. And we'll just skip a lot of these other numbers because it doesn't really matter much. That's the highlight, is that, hey, guess what? We're up. And it was net. This is net revenue, right? That means after everything's paid for and payroll and all that good jazz, that is their net revenue. It doesn't mean minus taxes, but that's fine. I want to get into some of the other numbers down below because I know this is going to get boring pretty quick for most of you. Again, showing the numbers because this is like, okay, this is real because this is important. These are non-GAAP, right? Non-GAAP, which means that they're using the standard way that companies calculate net revenues. So that's actually very, very good. And it's up, again, like I said, about 130 million total. And then it's still about the 110 million when we get down to Magic. I wanted the breakdown, and it's down a little bit later. So hang in there. We're getting there. So they went with the tabletop gaming and then the breakout for the digital licensing, the digital meaning Arena, and Monopoly Go, I think, is in that as well, is up about $100 million. Or no, I'm sorry. It's up about $30 million. And the tabletop gaming is up we'll call it $15 million. So that's good. These are all good things, right? This was a little bit curious. I don't know if you can see that, but the net revenues for North America were down. And actually the net revenues for consumer, and this is consumer brands. This is everything else, not Wizards, basically. Is still a negative, so they're still struggling. This is a little curious to me. Does this mean that they're actually starting to get into the show, the much promised show a long time ago? I don't know what this is for. Maybe it's for other brands. But the film and TV, I thought that was completely gone.
It's weird that it's net revenue.
Right.
Like that's not like expenditure.
Movie, I guess. I don't know.
Well, no, doesn't that mean that they made money?
And maybe that's off of like the D&D movie that somehow it was up.
They're making
I don't know why people shit on that movie so much. Like
bad movie, that's why.
I watched it like a week ago. I was talking to Matt about it. It was horrible. What a bad movie. Sorry.
There were funny parts. Some of it, like, if I watched just the highlights of the entire movie, I'd be like, okay, fine. But like sitting through the whole movie, I felt like I was wasting my time.
It feels like a D&D movie written by somebody who doesn't understand D&D.
No, it feels like a D&D movie that was written by somebody that heard jokes about D&D.
Right. And they always do that. Like, rather than putting it into a serious light. And what do I mean by that? I'm not even talking Harry Potter level, because this is definitely way below it. It's tongue-in-cheek. The old cheesy lines from everything and cheesy references to things. But you can do fantasy in a very modern, harder sense, like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. Instead, they keep going in this direction where it's got to be this super nerdy, geeky. That's what'll appeal to people that do D&D. No, stop it. Like, make it a compelling story, guys. Anyways, it was bad. But maybe they made $4 million off it, because I think it just released to like Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that's where I watched it. So maybe that's where that comes from. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll never see.
I was under the impression that you said Monopoly Go was made by Hasbro.
Yeah,
it's actually not. It's made by a company called Scopely.
Well, I don't know if it's made by them, but they probably
licensing.
Get money from it.
Yeah.
So they must license the Monopoly.
Yeah, it's just the Monopoly part of it.
I was curious because I remember reading news about Scopely's buying Pokemon Go
Nope.
for like
Okay.
$3.5 billion. So I was like, is Scopely is Scopely like a brand underneath Hasbro? It's not.
I don't
It's a
know.
brand under. It's called Savvy
just
Games Group.
Boggles me. Like, it just honestly, it boggles me that people spend that much time like playing games on their fucking phone. Like, honestly,
Oh, that doesn't
I
bother
use
me
it
at
for, like,
all.
I play
text
phone games on my
messaging.
computer.
So
Like, I just
let me
do
finish getting
not
through these
get
numbers
it.
here. Let me finish getting through these numbers here. I'm
Sorry,
almost done.
Bob. Go ahead.
So this is the key one that I wanted to see out of this whole thing. How much of this is attributed to Magic? And the not surprising answer is most of it.
Yeah,
Most of the profit is straight up due to Magic the Gathering itself, not Monopoly Go or Baldur's Gate video game or anything else. Like, definitely the Hercules in their arsenal for this quarter has been Magic the Gathering, and that is I'm a little curious because I want to hope that they did not include the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Maybe they got a big paycheck for it dropping on Netflix. I hope not. And
well,
maybe
it
that's
could
$4
be
million.
the two manuals.
The new
right within all three.
5.5 edition, the D&D
Yeah.
2024.
Sure. But I'm going to pretend that it's all Magic the Gathering because that's what it says here is that. Well, I mean, it does say right here that Hasbro Total Gaming is Dungeons and Dragons, which is up about wow. I missed that earlier. My bad, folks. It says 150 million.
102 from I mean, 35% increase is nice. 46% for Magic,
and then Magic is up massively.
Now, I don't know how much of that is due to pre-orders.
You spoiled it. You gave it away, man. I couldn't even get there.
You're like leading the fish like so far, or leading the carrot or whatever. Like you gotta like get to the.
No, I wanted to be totally positive all the way through the end of it, and then throw the but because they say everything that you say before the but doesn't matter. But Matt actually was the quickest one to point this out when I just even started talking about Q1 stuff. He had posted a couple of snippets from their press release, and he said, "But I wonder how much of it's due to the." I'm not sure where you get that from, Lance. There's no place that I saw that they said that they do not count it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just was curious if.
Additionally, these are just for investor statements. So, okay. But I don't. I mean, I understand you're a CPA, but you're a CPA for pre-orders of things. I can understand that you're talking about things that they haven't been paid for yet, but I'm pretty sure they've already received pay for these things.
I don't know. My pre-orders they didn't take money for.
Many of them not, but many of them yes.
Oh, Play booster boxes are available again on Amazon.
Are they? I literally just looked.
I did too. Like I said that I was on there. Yes, they are available right now for $209.
What we will, I mean, you very well may be right, Lance. I'm not saying you're not. I couldn't find anything that specifically stated that. What we will find out, and additionally, if it's the best-selling set of all time, with them saying that the rest of the year is going to be flat to negative. So they said
maybe Hasbro's not as excited about Edge of Eternities as Pat is.
I wouldn't be surprised if the profits were real, considering that like all of the push they've done with the Universes Beyond and Universes Within, like those. I mean, they've had a really good year as far as I'm concerned, and this year will probably continue to do well. I mean, obviously with Final Fantasy, they're going to have their best. Their sales records it'll probably be, if none of the pre-orders have counted yet, then their next quarter update or whatever is going to be
massive.
It'll
be massive.
It's going to be insane.
So we'll see, but we'll have to probably wait until the Q4 results to really see what the impact of it is. Because what I can say for certain is that we've never seen pre-sales so far in advance.
Yeah,
At least not since
that
I've been
shit
paying
is
attention to
ridiculous. Let's see, what's the farthest out
Literally,
product?
they literally have every product that
August?
we're aware of except for The Last Airbender up for pre-sale right now.
September.
of the year.
Yeah, I can buy
Yeah,
stuff all the way
September.
till September 26th.
pretty
So
wild.
legitimately 5 months away.
Well, they started pre-sales back in February for Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it was like 2 months ago. So yeah, they're it's weird. I don't know why they're doing it. If the money doesn't count for the reports, then I have no idea why they're doing it. I
It's
guess to build
probably
hype.
just to like show interest, to like kind of gauge what people are interested in, like quantity wise.
What that can mean is that they expect next year to also be banger, right? That they can keep this revenue train for pre-sales up. So I would expect next year's announcements to also be no way, and keep the hype train going. Because
Well, what are they gonna do crossovers with next year? They've kind of blew their load this year.
I don't know. Like, why do you think we're like scratching our heads, going, "Why would
fucking Mortal Kombat"? I swear to God, if they do a Mortal Kombat set, I'm so excited.
Pre-sales this far out is definitely at the expense of future quarters, right? You also,
I guess they got the Hulk. They got Hulk would be decent in Magic.
What I do know about pre-sales in most things in the world is that they're a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, Venom,
because you have the theoretical transfer of money, right? And then you have people defaulting for people already out of money, credit card transactions. They only give you 6 months of forgiveness, right? Like once it goes beyond 6 months that it was charged off your credit card, they won't go back and get your money for you. You'd have to sue the person after that point. So it gets very, very sticky, very, very quick to get into this dangerous pre-sale territory, right? So I'm very cautious.
Oh, Final Fantasy's gone again.
I telling you, dude. Like, it's at least I said something this time, it's doing my diligence.
Well, I looked at it, I saw it, but I'm not paying $209. That's a stupid price.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
I've already canceled my Spider-Man orders, because now we might potentially have access, but we'll talk more about that in the members only show, to getting product at a better price. And I'm just not willing to buy this Spider-Man stuff at those ridiculous prices.
Yeah, right.
Over $200 for essentially a draft booster. And they even announced, I'm not going to get into it too much. The whole, it's the Spider-Man, what did they call it? The Omen Paths is now a direction they're going to go.
Well, yes. I saw something about there was licensing they didn't do for Arena correctly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, they're not going to be having the Spider-Man cards named like Spectacular Spider-Man and all that shit. None of that's going to be on Arena. It's going to be like Bob had mentioned, Adventure of the Omen Path or some dumb crap like that, which I do not know what jackass made the agreement for that. Like, in all honesty, Lord of the Rings, Final Fantasy, you're getting like
a second. For Omen Paths, it wasn't just for Spider-Man. He stated it like it's going to be Omen Paths are going to be that concept moving forward.
So they probably saved them a lot of money for having to not have to license it for the app. That's probably why.
To me, what that says is that they have more in the pipeline as well.
Oh, absolutely. Marvel. Well, yeah.
They can't do it with the other Marvel products either.
One of the few things I agreed with Josh over the last week, he's made a lot of bad statements, but one I think was good was this is going to make it really confusing going forward because people play a lot of Arena and people play a lot of in paper, and there is some crossover, but those players don't always know the same cards. There's going to probably be some really banger stuff in the Spider-Man set, and people online will have no idea that it's actually Raging Rhinoceros because it's going to be
Stranger Things. Totally different. I didn't know there was the guy's name was like Not something or other. I had no clue there was cards that were named other things than the Stranger Things characters. I thought they were just the Stranger Things printings, but then they reprinted them somewhere, and then I was just like, I think I saw like the.
They reprinted them in the in Streets of New Capenna,
something like that.
And let me tell you, they reprinted them a lot because in my booster box opening, like 4 of the list cards that I got, or maybe 5 or 6, were all those reprints of the Stranger Things secret.
Yeah, they do them real heavy when they do them. Yeah,
that was bad. That was a definite feels bad because I don't think there was a one of them that was worth over like $1 or $2, and all my list cards from that were garbage when they had things like Anointed Procession in there and whatnot, and all I got were I got like a double set of the Stranger Things reprint Secret Lairs, not Stranger Things. I was like, okay, that was terrible. I don't like the list. Never have.
I was just thinking, why don't they just make some more Fallout cards and do an entire Fallout set, and do the same thing like they had done with the Warhammer as well. Just add in another 200 cards and just making it an entire set.
Or Doctor Who.
No, Doctor Who sucks.
Dude, it's the longest running TV show, I think, ever.
It's so bad that they don't have episodes from their first season because nobody gave a fuck.
I remember watching
it. Has to have some degree of success for it to run for over 30 years.
Hey, just because a lot of people like it doesn't mean it's good.
Okay, I'll agree with that. But it's successful.
Yeah, the D&D movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you can make $4 million on a hot piece of shit.
Yeah, like that was. Ooh. It's better than Snow White, apparently. But
oh my God, I love all the Sling Blade memes that are coming along. This is just fucking gold. That chick, she definitely talked right out her ass. That is very funny. Modern media. I love what the internet's doing to her.
I've seen AI things take her face and like have it sing random shit, and it's funny.
Yeah,
dude,
I want
that
some
poor
taters.
girl. I mean, I'm going to like surprisingly, I'm going to cut somebody a little bit of slack that probably doesn't deserve it, but realize she's only like 23 years old, and the stupid shit that rolled out of my mouth at 23 that I wasn't held accountable because I didn't have mega news cameras in my face recording every dumb thing I did at that age.
You didn't have perspective or the platform. And I think that's, for sure why she's gotten in the situation she has. She said some dumb shit because she's insulated from the world at large. Yeah. And everybody heard it because she's in front of it.
Well, and she's a pretty girl, so she gets, pretty privilege.
People say that, but I don't know how you can put her in Gal Gadot and say Snow White's the pretty one.
Did you ever watch the West Side Story thing she did? She looked really good.
But I'm just saying,
from Snow White, Gal Gadot good to me.
Okay.
She doesn't look like that heifer that's like memed on all the time. That looks like Jabba the Hutt.
No, don't get me wrong. She ain't like Miss Piggy or nothing, but she's definitely what we call the B roll.
I don't know. I mean, she's a cute enough girl. I'll guarantee you, she gets pretty privilege. She has talent. She can sing.
She's a lot cuter outside of Snow White.
Oh yeah,
she beats. She's more attractive than Brave.
Haircut was just what an odd choice. But again, being held accountable for what you say at 23, especially under pressure and in front of all the cameras, and people panic and say false allegations when they're in front of a camera.
It's true.
So,
it's true.
Again, surprisingly, because I'm known for being very forgiving and cutting people slack, but no, I'll give her that much slack. But after the first time you do it and you see all the pushback, you should be grown up enough, and you've been a grown up for a while, that when the pushback becomes real, don't double down. Doubling down has never served anybody in the history of PR. That is a bad idea. And she just keeps doubling down and looking for sympathy. And it's like what you do when you F up out there, you disappear for a while. You get out of the headlines. You don't make yourself, especially in today's brutal world of memes and social media. Don't give them a target to shoot at because they're just looking for targets. Hell, they target us.
Yes, it's true. Although we haven't had any of those Russian bots in here trying to sell sex in a while.
Maybe
we got to get them
does that mean
back.
we're losing it? We're not as
I
popular.
thought it was impressive that you had no tags in the video. I added tags, and then within 30 seconds of me adding tags, we got random ass people asking about some really weird shit. It was literally within 30 seconds of me adding tags, we got a bunch of random people talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, talking about whatever. I'm like, what?
Oh,
Okay.
no shit.
Yeah. I saw you. I was double checking. You also had the members only stream as public. I fixed it.
Hey, it takes a village.
Classic.
So I just want to bring it up because we're about to wrap it up here, folks, in about the next 10 minutes or so. I just want to cover the other big news of the week and get everybody's, let's see what the audience has to say about it. But the big news this week for Magic in different news, and I don't know whether it's net positive or net negative, but it certainly caused a big blur. Anyways, it caused a lot of hubbub. Behind me is the key here. They unbanned stuff in Commander.
Yeah, that probably should have been like
Great.
the headliner.
Probably should have led the show with that. That would have been probably a more better
The
idea.
last
but-
10 minutes.
Dude, our show, our mascot should be Cartman. I do what I want.
Do what I want.
I commit hate crimes. I run 12 gangs. But so they unbanned, and Matt and I last week went through. No big shocker to me. Obviously, was the coalition victory. I think everybody saw that coming. I think even Matt and I said that Braids we didn't see as too big of an issue. I mean, she can be somewhat oppressive coming out on turn one, but there are lots of decks, that do turn 0, turn 1 unfun stuff.
Well,
right?
there was one thing that I didn't consider last week is that it also it includes you. You have to do the thing as well. So
Yep.
Yes.
you have to you have to build the deck. I thought it was that you could just play her, ramp her out to the point where like you have the only creature on the field, and you can just kill people with 2 casting costs.
I mean,
But no,
you'd have to
you
do
have
like
to be
a
able to
turn
sack
2
something
get
every
Bitter
turn.
Blossom on the board.
She's
right?
really bad. I don't think it's like you can build a deck around her that you can surely
Again,
win with, but
You and I
so
are both
bad.
on the train that she's not that big a problem in today's world.
yeah, people are freaking out about it. They're salty as fuck about it, but everybody's gonna be salty as fuck about it. I called Gifts Ungiven. I said that I don't understand why that's not banned because Realms Uncharted was unbanned. We both agreed that Sway the Stars and Coalition Victory were like whatever. And then I think they already talked about Panoptic Mirror that was like almost going to be the almost guaranteed one.
They said Coalition Victory was the almost guaranteed one, but Panoptic Mirror.
No, they talked about Panoptic Mirror as well. They said that it's at the point now where you have to pay 5 mana. They said something along the lines of if you're going to take a bunch of extra turns, that's like another Rule 0 situation. Like you'll just.
But there's other ways to take infinite extra
Yeah,
turns.
exactly. That's the thing.
Witness
actually
with a crystal shard.
It costs like
and
10 mana in for you to do this, and you have to wait till your next upkeep. So
Right.
like,
It's the beginning of upkeep. Yeah.
so yeah, it's not bad. It's fine.
Well, I mean,
And
I would say that
honestly,
it's.
I would rather someone wins with Coalition Victory than Approach of the Second fucking Sun. Like, I just can't handle that shit because you see it coming from a mile away. At
And
least
you
with
can't
this, it's
stop
like,
it.
hey, I win. Haha.
Coalition Victory is so bad. If you get
Well,
any
right.
piece of removal completely removes, like it's a sorcery. I thought it was like an enchantment or something. I never even paid attention.
Hold on. Let's
that
start
it's
with
a
the first
sorcery.
thing. It's a 5-color commander.
Yeah. And this
Your
costs
options are pretty
80
limited in 5-color commander for a banger deck.
Oh, come on. My first thought when I saw this, I was like, well, Slivers would not mind this. Like Morophon. Oh, yeah. I could. But then again, that's like the 1 5-color deck I have.
Right.
But then they remove your commander, and then you no longer have the 5 colors, and then you lose.
Oh, no.
You
That's
don't
got
lose,
like,
you just don't.
that's got probably 5 or 6 different 5-colored creatures in it.
I know.
But the
I'm
thing
just
is, they have
saying.
to leave you alone to build your board state to get this out. Like,
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a nothing burger.
I agree with you. It's almost a meme card. So I don't want to
It
be
is
this
a team card.
this horse.
Well,
to
these are
death.
just all great things. Like both Panoptic Mirror, Coalition Victory here as well. I see these both going to just get reprint fodder. Like that's what these are to me. Is these will be in like a remaster.
But they're not worth
set.
money. Like neither one of them.
Yeah, they are. They're in like the $30-$40 range.
Coalition Victory? It was
Yeah.
like $9, $7.
I saw one at $40.
Yeah, a version of it. Yeah, the lowest version right now is $10.
Oh, yeah, okay. And probably the same thing for Panoptic Mirror.
I didn't look up Panoptic.
Well, what I
don't know
think
what
those
that
are
is.
though, those are like the damaged versions and like the
Panoptic
heavy
Mirror
plate.
hasn't been reprinted since Dark Steel.
Yeah,
It's
well,
the
but
only-
there's
is it
therein
reserved?
lies the key that I really wanted to touch on about all these unbannings. So they're like the first round of unbannings, right?
Especially
they're
from
testing the
$8 to
waters
$45.
With very safe cards, right?
Yeah.
So that they, the new commander committee, whatever they're called, doesn't catch a whole lot of flack from people, right? I said this before. I don't know if I was on Lance's show or maybe
they're going to reprint Panoptic Mirror soon.
Oh, they're going to reprint all these, right?
well,
and what'll
it's
happen?
never been reprinted since Dark Steel.
Braids was a $2 card at best, and they're going to reprint it, and it's going to go back down to a 50-cent card. That's what's going to happen there.
Damn right.
Panoptic Mirror's never been reprinted, and it's a $40 card lightly played.
Okay,
so.
and it the second it gets
But
reprinted,
it was $9.
And then it's $9. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but once they reprint it, in a meaningful way, and they're going to do that with all these. I mean, clearly that's what's going to happen with all of these. Is that they're all okay?
Got a boost.
But Bob, they better, because I want to see that 550 million go up to 625 million for next quarter one.
I'm buying Hasbro stock now. Hurry, buy it now.
I'm
buying.
Bye.
If you want more entertainment like this, make sure you hit not just the subscribe buttons, but also join for the extra $1 a month. You can get 2+ hours every single month. And box openings, plus you get to talk to us,
17% after their quarterly report.
Bigger and better arguments behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Uncensored feet.
And it's also horizontal.
Unfiltered
You
and
don't have to deal with this vertical setup. You get to see all of my necks.
We go wide, and we are the wide crew.
Go wide.
But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the unbannings that we saw come out to be fairly unimpactful. But I think there was one that they put on the game changer list, if I'm not mistaken, was Seedborn Muse.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like, and there've been all kinds of stuff out there. Like, hey, unban it all, and let's have different brackets of game changers and banned as commander. And there's been a lot of talk about Raffellos this week, but I don't think we're going to see any more unbannings at all this year.
Well, I thought they were only going to do once a year unbanning. So
no, they said that they're going to they kind of walked that back and said that they'll do bannings and unbanning, or at least bannings when needed, right?
We'll do whatever we want to.
Yeah, they basically kind of walked that back. And it's the commander unbannings, and they didn't ban anything, was already out of cycle with the other ban announcements, which I thought was a very weird move. Like, it's treated in its own little bracket. So I see that as very weird, but don't expect any more unbannings. And I think we're going to see all the speculation stuff. So look, here's my wrap up with all of that. The speculations that people do because they might potentially unban something, stop it. Just stop it. For every one that hits, there's going to be 20 or 30 people out there.
I would just Jewel Lotus. I need to get a few of these.
Looking at you, Dockside Extortionist. I don't think that card's ever coming off the ban list. But
I mean, one of my favorite things about Jewel Lotus is how many
Jewel Lotus went up.
in it.
Oh no, it did go down. It went down to $50.
Dude, all I'm saying is stop it. Just stop it.
All right, Dockside is definitely one. Dockside Extortionist. Show me $5.
But
it's still $25. What people are holding on to?
The opposite side of that is just because something becomes unbanned, don't run out and buy it unless you absolutely need to have it. Especially in Commander when you can proxy it, because what these are clearly signaling to me is the reprint engine's about to go burr on those cards.
Well, like a year, because they've already made the sets prior to even knowing they'd be unbanning them.
Well, hey guys, that's about it for this episode. Make sure to join us over in the members stream, which I will probably be able to get a link to in the next 20 seconds.
Are you going to put it in the chat?
Hey, I'm working on it.
Did you make it members only?
I got it.
No, Matt did.
I took care of it.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the link For $1, you can. I had it open because I was fixing the tags and the tags.
Hey, I appreciate
that
it. You
note,
know, takes a village.
Figured I would double check you just in case. You missed 1 week, so maybe you were.
No, I've missed like
it.
4. You just noticed once.
No,
Until next time,
like
take care, everybody.
Last week.
Bye, y'all.
See you later.
And then we dance.